Welcome to Yellow Brick Road. I'm Jordan. This is James. And today we're going to be talking about 2020 presidential candidate Andrew Yang and his thoughts on universal basic income. But first, we'd like to ask you to please consider donating to Devon's Journey to Recovery. The link is in the description box, and the website's at the very beginning of this video and our past videos, for the most part. So please consider donating. Any amount will help. Okay. So, someone in our comments, I forgot his name, John something, told us about Andrew Yang, because we were talking about Tulsi Gabbard and people trying to smear her. He said, oh, here's another interesting candidate, interesting person. And I remember us talking about wanting to have, like, why can't we just have, a universal basic income?
I didn't say that.
I think we were both saying that'd be a good idea.
It'd be a step.
In the moral world of things, people being able to express themselves, truly work towards their passion.
Mm.
But Andrew Yang has a little bit more of
an idea.
A little bit more of this world, being practical according to this world. We're out here in what our good ideas, what our bad ideas land. He's in more of the, I understand the system we have now, and this could be something that could be implemented.
Structure.
Yeah. So let's hear him talk about universal basic income.
We're coming to you live from New York, and I have with me the first ever political candidate that I've spoken with, Andrew Yang. Thank you very much for joining us on the show.
Please forgive us. The audio of the clip is quite low.
It's great to be here, Jeremy. Thanks for having me.
I don't need it loud.
Digital trends, of course, we are a technology brand. We talk about technology. One thing we don't like to talk about is politics. So it's great to have you here, Mr. Politician. We're not really going to talk so much about politics. I'm reminded I've been giving some presentations to a bunch of marketers, and the gist of it is how much I hate marketing. And I'm thinking to myself, oh gosh, similar concept here. Although I love politics.
No, don't worry about it. I mean, I've been a serial entrepreneur for a couple of decades now. And I'm very happy to talk about what's happening in the economy and technology.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we're looking forward to talking to you about. One of the platforms of your one of the tenets of your platform is a universal income.
Yes.
Which is predicated on the fact that we have some concerns about the role that artificial intelligence is playing in society and what it's doing to jobs.
Yeah.
So maybe you can give everyone a little background on what exactly that means.
Well, sure. So if you look at the most common jobs in the U.S. economy, they're all getting eliminated progressively by artificial intelligence and new technologies. So the reason why Donald...
Yes and no. We can argue about that. But.
No. Well, I wrote a book and went into the data sets. And so if you just think about it for a moment, being a retail worker is the most common job in America. About 9 million retail workers. The average retail worker is a 39-year-old woman with a high school education making between $11 and $12 an hour. Now, you don't think AI is going to actually walk in and have a robot that does the cashier's job. But we know that 30% of American malls are going to close in the next 4 years, along with a similar number of Main Street stores. And people who are...
So as you can tell, he's already like an analytical type guy. He's looking at percentages. He's looking at trends. Statistics, what's most likely to happen, and sort of an analytical solution to that.
Watching this, you're probably seeing stores close in your Main Streets right now.
Is that a reflection on shopping trends, or is that about the role of artificial intelligence?
Well, that's not AI, though. Amazon's obviously the big reason why so many of these stores are closing, and Amazon's also one of the leading innovators and investors in AI. So another thing you might not think of as AI is self-driving cars and trucks. And self-driving trucks in particular are going to be very, very devastating to the 3.5 million Americans who work as truck drivers right now. It's the most common.
Personally, after watching that Corbett Report video, I don't know how much I trust self-driving vehicles.
What you're probably going to see is a completely separate lane, and it's going to probably not be prototypically a self-driving car. It's probably going to be something in regards of like a train, but not nearly as big.
It's on like a magnetic track or something.
Magnetic track within a tube.
Yeah.
That's probably what's going to happen. It's literally like a train.
Amongst like self-driving cars amongst each other, I'm sort of okay with. But
yeah, not with me.
Once Corbett brings up the idea, like if there's a baby in the road, or there's a baby in one lane and I don't know, an adult in another lane, like is the robot car like, kill adult to save baby?
I know.
It's like that should be a person making a moral choice in the moment.
Well, at the same time, it is designed by a person. So
he brings up the trolley car thought experiment.
All I'm saying is separate lane, separate thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Common job in 29 states.
I haven't traveled through the sewers.
So if you see these things coming in the next 5 to 10 years, then you start reflecting on what a meaningful solution would be. And one of the solutions I propose is universal basic income of $1,000 per American adult, which I've christened the freedom dividend because Americans like the word freedom.
Freedom's
You call it the freedom dividend because Americans like the word freedom. That's kind of funny.
It's also creepy.
Yeah, a little dark.
It's like
A little marketing.
that's what advertisers has brought me. My advertisers has brought me statistics, and they say Americans get slightly aroused and they get hyperactive when they see the word freedom. Like, oh, that's me.
So his universal basic income would be $1,000 per month. Now I've listened to a clip of him and Sam Harris talking just about universal basic income, and he proposes it as like a supplemental thing, meaning it's you already work a job and here's an extra $1,000 a month, which I think goes a long way. Like obviously, in this economy and the world the way it is, you can't live off of $12,000 a year.
Yo.
I believe that's below the poverty line.
Well, especially if you want to live like a healthy life too.
I think he'll say
Physically.
I think he'll say here that the poverty line is like $12,700 something like that. So the $12,000 a year would be below the poverty line. But at the same time, if you're a homeless guy in this world right now, yet you're raking in $1,000 a month, like you could do something with that.
Well, why wouldn't you?
But hey, let's get roommates. Get a roommate.
Yeah.
Might be able to afford a decent place.
My shit is this. It's like
If you're okay with living outside, you can go get food or whatever.
You should still have $1,000 a month, even with this idea, even if you don't have a job.
No. He's saying it's there regardless, but he's saying it's.
No, that's my opinion. If you're gonna do that, if you're gonna do that,
that's what he's saying.
I'm just saying me.
Okay, let me explain his. He is saying that even if you don't have a job, you get $12,000 a year. But it's more of a supplemental thing for the stability of the economy. It's so that people are making whatever $30,000 a year, they're now making $42,000 a year. And that makes a huge difference. That's sort of what he's saying, like to keep the economy going in this, analytical way. All right, continuing.
It's a great word.
Yeah.
So that's $1,000 per month or per year?
$1,000 per month.
So at $12,000 income, that's actually pretty decent.
Yeah, and $12,770 is the poverty line in the U.S., so no one's going to be living large on $1,000 a month. But at the same time, it would enable massive improvements in how dynamic our labor market and our economy are, because right now Americans are moving.
Just so you know, he's going to explain why, you'll hear the dumb arguments like, oh, well, people will just be lazy and not do anything. They have a free ride, they'll do nothing. He's actually going to explain things analytically that people don't tend to do that. I don't agree with the methods, but my own explanation would say something else about humanity and their drives and shit. But he's going to say it in an analytical way. Like, when this happens to people, this percentage does this. So, just giving you a heads up.
Moving across state lines at multi-decade lows. They're starting businesses at multi-decade low rates. I started an organization, Venture for America, that's trying to encourage entrepreneurship. And one of the reasons why I became so alarmed is I saw where our economy is heading.
So there are 329 million people in the U.S. right now, according to the U.S. and World Population Clock I'm looking at.
Yeah.
$12,000 per person sounds like a couple $1 trillion.
Yeah, so we're including 18 to 64-year-old Americans, so the headline cost would be about $2.4 trillion per year. For reference,
I got about $15 in my wallet right now, so I'll contribute to that. Here's a 20.
Oh, thank you.
We're looking good.
You know, so the 2.4 trillion sounds like a lot, but for context, our economy has grown to 19 trillion, up 4 trillion in the last 10 years alone, and the federal budget's around 4 trillion. So the big change we would need to make to pay for the freedom dividend is right now the huge winners are going to be Amazon, Google, Facebook, really the biggest companies that are going to capture the gains from AI and big data. And the American public's going to see very little of that because those tech companies are great at not paying a lot of taxes here in the US. They just move it through Ireland or say, didn't make any money this quarter. And so what we need to do is we need to join every other advanced economy and have a value-added tax, which would then give the public a sliver of every Amazon transaction, every Google search. Because our economy is so massive, a value-added tax at even half the European level would generate 800 billion in new revenue. And that, plus the 800 billion we currently spend on 126 welfare programs, plus the economic growth we'd experience by giving Americans $1,000 a month, because right now 57% of Americans can't pay an unexpected $500 bill. So if you give them the money, they're going to spend it. And then all of the cost savings and things like healthcare, incarceration, homelessness services, and having a stronger, better educated, more mentally strong population pays for the 2.4 trillion.
See, this is the guy I want to be paired with the philosopher.
That's where I was going to go at the end. Like him plus someone else. But yeah, he brings up, like, all right, how are you going to pay for this? The argument that I think asshats usually bring up.
Mm-hmm.
Asshats that are stuck to this system and will never leave it. And the free market. People like that. Or socialism is evil. Those guys. He brings up how you're going to pay for it. And he brought up something that our friend Martine brought up, which is the VAT, value-added tax, which is every transaction will have a flat tax rate, like 5% tax on everything, every single transaction. And he says it'll amount to like $800 billion or something like that. He also talked about how companies are escaping these things, like Amazon, Google, shit like that.
They didn't bring any money this quarter. Well, yeah, okay. Are those Amazon Phantoms in your driveway? No. Like, pulls the curtain. Didn't make any money this quarter.
So now when Jeff Bezos goes and buys that yacht, 5% of it is going to the U.S. economy.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at that.
No, I just,
But, all right. He also brought in, okay, we'll be doing away with these other programs because we won't need it because they'll be getting $12,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
So you won't have to pay welfare and all this other shit because you'll be bringing in straight up money. And if you don't want to spend it on something you need, then it's sort of your fault. In a way. Granted, I think people should still help him out, but that's another argument. So, yeah. That's how he's going to pay for it.
It's a well thought through plan. I'm intrigued, I must say. A VAT tax, by the way, very common in Europe. So does that vary based on a product? Is it a percentage? Is it a flat amount? How does that get calculated?
For the most part, it's a flat percentage.
Okay, nice and easy.
Yep.
So this is a fascinating platform. I want to drill a little bit into the AI thing.
Yes.
Because I've heard this comment from a lot of people that AI is taking away jobs. And I would propose instead that for every job that gets taken away, AI and technology creates additional jobs. So I don't see the rise of AI and the whole issue with jobs as so much of a challenge for this country.
All right, so I might even stop the video here. His response is basically something I would say too. Is like, if I'm replacing a garbage man's job with a robot, well, it's like, well, someone has to do maintenance on the robot, so that's creating jobs. It's like, well, not everyone's like a robot technician that could do that, right? The garbage man, it's not all of a sudden a garbage robot technician. Those are two different like jobs and shit.
Yeah.
So the skill is not keeping up with the new jobs created.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And that makes a lot of sense. Also, I just like the idea of everyone getting $12,000 a year, straight up. For me, it might even be more, but socialism is evil. These billionaires can't live off of $1 million a year. They can't do it. It's stealing. It would be, but in my idea of a perfect world, people would, I don't know, empathy, charity, things like that. But you just want to be an artist, just a starving artist making paintings for yourself and no one else. Shit, I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna go travel the world.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, there you go. Goodbye. Go. Like, fuck, I just don't get it. Like, I love basketball, man. But I don't really want to play pro. I like doing other things as well. Hey, there's this league you can join.
Yeah.
Have fun.
Or I love basketball, but, looking with foresight, like, shit, I gotta do all this shit to where I'm not really gonna make it till I'm like 38 years old. Some make-believe scenario. Like, all the shit I have to do, all the skill, I've been spending all these years fucking sitting at video games, eating Cheetos and shit. Then at 24, I'm like, fuck. I'm playing these games about basketball, but I really want to play. You have to take all these years to turn yourself back around and shit, to learn plays rather than press X. I got to actually learn a basketball move and a basketball play and all that shit.
It can be done.
And it's like, oh, okay. Your goal takes more time than maybe someone else might take. So we need to afford you the time to actually work on your thing. Does that make sense?
Well, I'm looking like that. That sound right.
Yeah.
We need to afford you.
You're afforded time. You know what I mean?
I'm looking both ways.
Fair enough. I do too. I speak in human language. I speak human.
Yeah, lawyers do too, man.
But yeah. So here's the thing with the Andrew Yang guy. I've looked up, several videos on him. I'm lazy. I don't read shit. I just look up what the fucking guy says. It's interesting. And as far as on an analytical basis, I like it. Bringing morality, like my morality plus analytics. Like, oh, okay, I like this. But let's go to the big picture scenario. What should really be happening? It should be, I believe Rogan stated this many times in the past, like there should be like a council of people.
Council.
Same word.
It's a council.
British people say it one way, we'll say it in a different way. I mix it up there. A council of people. Thank you for correcting my English. So yeah, a council of people. Those should be the leaders, quote unquote leaders, that we all put ahead of us and say, you guys might understand all these areas better than we do.
Well, it's the guys with the ideas that hold up, as far as from like a philosophical standpoint.
Yeah. Yeah, even Rogan brought that up too. Like voting on individual ideas. His idea was using the internet or whatever.
Well, it's literally everybody coming together rather than like, I vote for him. Like, I don't like... The problem with democracy is, well, I don't want that. Too bad. You lose. The idea that stands alone.
Yeah, some sort of way to where the best ideas make it to the top echelons of society rather than the most popular. Because we already seen that people can be swayed in one direction or the other. The Iraq War before we went to Iraq, I believe there was like 72% of Americans were they're like, yeah, let's go to Iraq. Like 72 fucking %.
Yeah.
So that should tell you that people can be swayed regardless of what's happening in reality. So when you leave things up to popularity contests, shit can happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you take an Andrew Yang and you combine him with, let's say, Tulsi Gabbard's anti-interventionist war thing, then combine him with Bernie Sanders' free healthcare thing, and you start combining them all around all these other things. You combine them with Trump's anti-SJW shit. Like, oh, we don't need to be politically correct. We gotta do what's right. Can you imagine that guy saying that? Like you're combining archetypes of the political landscape.
I say I just don't. It's not mean like that. It's like, did you just assume my if I'm being silly, did you just assume my gender? It's like, fucker, you know what I mean. Stop it. Stop.
You can even combine it with like Obama's ability to say something clearly.
Huh?
To speak English very well to where it comes off as clear. I have to translate for him, ladies and gentlemen. He's in constant fuck you mode.
You're on thin ice, man.
You said something good? Huh? What did you say?
He said something clearly.
Yeah.
That dude does like the fucking dances
He
around.
speaks English correctly.
Said clear.
Correctly.
I understood what he meant.
Yeah. Even if he's lying, his words all make sense together. Rather than, the terrorist, 9/11.
I'm not even going to try. All right.
So yeah, you'd want a council of people reflecting these archetypes with the best ideas possible. You want those guys up there. Guys that are just focused on what the public is talking about, like a journalist type. Like, oh, I'm here just to listen to what people are saying. Like, they need to be a part of what we're doing. Then you have someone who's just nope, I understand the moral grounds here. I don't need the opinions. I'm going to work on this thing. So, honestly, it should never be just one guy there. Well, it could be, but in this world, it shouldn't be. So, in my opinion, here's what Andrew Yang should do. This is the first time I heard of him. One of the viewers put him down in the comments. Like, hey, you should check him out. He should honestly try to talk to a Bernie Sanders or a Tulsi Gabbard or someone who would actually consider the idea. Because, no offense, I don't see him winning. People don't know who he is.
I wouldn't want him to win, really. If he doesn't bring the philosophical ideas up to board with all the statistics and, this is the system that we want type of thing. I don't want you. You can be a guy that advises people on what kind of system could work if you're working with some sort of a structured financial whatever. This is the kind of guy. Well, I'm gonna ask you. You've been my numbers guy.
Well, if Tulsi or
no Kramer.
If Tulsi or Bernie Sanders were we really want to get universal income in here, but fuck, our math's not lining up correctly. Here's a guy right here who did all the math and thought about it.
Bad.
What?
Dude's Asian. Here's the guy.
He did the work.
Just saying.
If he does the work,
Just saying.
He should be brought on to we should really look at this. All hands on deck type of thing. You understand this better than others because you worked on it for so long. Or whatever. I think that's it. Is that it? Did I say it right? Or should
You're getting close. Man.
Don't worry, he has no rebuttal.
Oh, I don't really need to have one.
Exactly. That's not an argument. Exactly.
It's
So, thanks for
argument
watching.
for
Please
yeah,
consider subscribing. Subscribe if you feel like. Comment if you feel like. We will debate with you. We're not experts. We just I like good ideas. And this sounds like it's leading towards the good idea I'm looking for. And that's definitely worth considering. So check out Andrew Yang. Just look him up. Look at shit he's wrote. look up videos, things he said. I say it's worth looking at. Please consider donating to Devon's Journey to Recovery. The link is in the description box. The website's at the very beginning of this video in the intro and our past videos. Please consider donating. You might even get a shout out. Just let us know if you donated or not. It's not for us. It's for someone else, so we don't make any money off this. Yet. Someday, you will pay us money. So yeah, Devon's Journey to Recovery. Link in the description. And with that said, give this video a thumbs down.
Say you wanna get in.